And we're rolling.
So it's this is the day of spoken words in a row where I talk about someone who's a fucking asshole by the name of John, but this is a different John who's a fucking asshole. I think this John is actually worse than the other John. You'll soon see why. Okay. How can you tell if a group of people are a bunch of fucking assholes? That's why I'm here to teach you about that after one of many experiences that I was misfortunate enough to go through. It was in July 1994 when I had just first moved to the Twin Cities, and sometimes I have regrets for deciding to move there because of I met so many people who are a bunch of uptight PC fucks. Of course, it wasn't that great in shit in Florida, but who easily get a bug up their ass when you say the wrong thing. Anyway, I was hoping that I would make some new friends, so I decided to go to a men's support group, hoping that I would find a group of people there who are cool, but most of them turned out to be a bunch of uptight assholes, which is the complete opposite of what I was hoping for, and what I was opposite of what I was hoping would happen. When I moved there from Florida in July 1994, I mentioned that I constantly had rampages and meltdowns whenever the weather was too fucking hot out. And John, the facilitator of the group, did not only find that not to be funny, he went on to say that the hot weather had nothing to do with causing my rampages and meltdowns. It was all me.
Gee, I'm glad he knows so much about you after knowing you for what, just a few minutes?
I think it was probably a couple of times.
Oh, well.
Strike one. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh, he also told me that I need therapy because I had rampages and meltdowns.
Uh-oh, red flag.
Strike
Yep.
one.
Yep.
As the months went on, I kept mentioning that I'm a writer and I like to write stories and I wanted to get them published so I could become a famous author. And in March 1995, I give this other guy who was in his 50s at the time. Well, he may have croaked since then. It was 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
With any luck.
Yeah, well.
It was in his 50s at the time, who was this extremely uptight and extremely mediocre. He was very uptight and extremely mediocre. Two stories, and one of them is called Romantic Bowel Movements, which is about a guy who enjoys having women take a shit on him while he's having sex. Well, apparently your brother didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, that's right. Ah, yeah.
And the other story is called Enema Heaven, which is about a guy who becomes a serial killer because his dreams of opening up his own store that specializes in the sale of enemas, but his dreams are broken, so the best he can do is work at jobs that he can't stand. In one part of the story, he is working at a restaurant when he gets into an argument with his boss.
Oh, God.
Which happens at the exact same time that he has diarrhea. So he decides to pull down his pants and he shits out diarrhea all over the floor of the restaurant, right in front of the customers.
Oh, God.
For some reason, he was fired from his job after he did that.
You're kidding.
He likes his job better at a pet store until his boss accuses him of having sex with the cats, which he did not do. But by the way, and he decides to kill his boss by holding his head in the litter box loaded with shit and balls of piss. But the good news is the cats were able to take their pisses and shits.
Good.
Even though there was a dead body in the litter box. Can you imagine someone who is an extremely mediocre, uptight snowflake with no sense of humor reading something like that?
Yeah, I can.
With that in mind, the feedback that I got was not good.
Oh, dear.
He told me that he was offended because I constantly referred to the characters as pricks and fucking assholes. And then he went on to start reading Romantic Bowel Movements. And he couldn't handle reading the rest of the story because the poor little snowflake just couldn't handle any more of that. Because I kept referring to people as fucking assholes, and that story is the one he told me. John then tells me that I shouldn't write stories like I do, with a lot of profanity, because it just won't fit in with mainstream society, and no one will ever publish it. He then went on to tell me that we live in a society of morals and standards, and I must follow and abide by the majority, a whopping 99% of believing, and he told me that a whopping 99% of people believe using profanity is wrong. Strike two.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't move to Minnesota for morals and standards. Fuck that shit. I came to the Twin Cities to find things that are cool. I then mentioned, wait until you hear this, which I told you once before, but you probably forgot.
I'm sure.
I then mentioned that the majority of people are brain dead assholes. Everyone felt that was an offensive thing to say.
But it's true.
And they wanted to know why I think most people are brain dead assholes. I told them that it was because most people are sheep. And they had no idea what the fuck I was talking about.
Oh, God.
Someone asked me if I thought people were animals.
Oh.
Unfucking believable. Strike three.
Yeah.
This is a final example of people who are stuck up and stupid. I told him that I have a friend who just loves my stories. He then told me that a real friend would tell me that writing stuff like that is wrong. If they cared about me. I told them that the best friends I have like to use vulgar language. John told
Cunt, fuck, motherfucker, cocksucker.
John told me that I need to change the people who I have for friends.
No, you don't.
They said I need to have friends with people who are offended at people who use profanity. Then I will learn or get indoctrinated that it is wrong. And then I will have more friends with people who will accept me for what I am not. Then I won't be pissed off anymore, and then I will be happy. What a load of total fucking bullshit.
Oh, that's so not true. I know.
And as that was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
If things get to the point that people start telling me that I need to get rid of the real friends that I have who are truly supportive of me and replace them with people like that, those fucking snowflakes, and they are not only control freak fucking scum, but they are extremely dangerous control freak fucking scum. It's not just giving me advice on how I should live my life, but this is a strong indicator that this is mind control and a mind control indoctrination cult. Can you say Jim Jones?
Jim Jones.
These people have Jim Jones written all over them.
Yeah.
As I feel extremely threatened by people who tell me not to talk to my existing friends anymore. My mind is not that weak, thankfully. Throughout the period of time that I was going to this group, they constantly told me that I should use feelings when I talk. So I mentioned that I was using feelings when I refer to people as fucking pricks and fucking assholes. And he tells me that I wasn't using feelings, but I was being abusive. Oh, really?
What about people who've been abusive to you? I guess that doesn't matter, does it?
Well, John was very unsympathetic when I mentioned that the hot weather in Florida caused me to have rampages and meltdowns.
By invalidating your feelings, that's a form of abuse.
Isn't saying that type of shit being abusive and telling me that I was being abusive is nothing more than someone trying to shove this sensitivity, touchy-feely shit down my fucking throat. But he wasn't willing to be sensitive to my needs at all.
No, of course not.
He was also unaware that I have Asperger's.
Yeah.
And most people with Asperger's have sensory issues, which justifies the reason that I detest people like that so much. And John's mother should have had an abortion, and pieces of his unborn fetus should have been scraped out of his mother's twat.
Vacuumed.
Or vacuumed,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That uptight, mediocre, control freak fucking dingleberry. I remember mentioning that I was able to prove to my parents that once I was living on my own that I'm capable of scooping the turds and the balls of piss out of the cat's litter box, and John once said, "That is the 5th time that you said that."
That's really pathetic that he has to count that. What kind of a life does he have?
He was actually keeping records of that.
Yeah.
If he was keeping records of the number of times that I talked about scooping turds and balls of piss out of the cat's litter box, then maybe he has Asperger's. But one thing for sure, he should definitely be diagnosed with assholism syndrome.
Yeah.
As also I mentioned scooping turds and balls of piss out of the litter box, but John told me that wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny.
Anyone who doesn't think that is funny can go fuck themselves. John wanted me to see a therapist that would indoctrinate me into believing all his fucking bullshit, and he referred me to a place. And in 2011, I went to that place. Is when I was looking for a lawyer and documentation for having it diagnosed with Asperger's, so I could collect disability. And when I went there, they never even heard of Asperger's, and they knew virtually nothing about the autism spectrum.
Oh.
So I know damn well that place is run by a bunch of incompetent, control freak, Nazi fucking scum. And one of those people told me that they had a nervous breakdown, and they were hoping that I would have a nervous breakdown, because once I had a nervous breakdown, I would be more than happy to be indoctrinated into believing all their bullshit.
What?
But the more people try to indoctrinate me, the more defiant I become, and these people acted like they are better than me, but I came to the realization that I am better than they are. Where are we at with time?
11:45.
I got about 2.5 minutes.
Okay, did you finish?
Yes.
Okay. How old was this John anyhow?
Well, I don't know. He seemed like he was probably in his early 40s.
Oh.
That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. He has the totally wrong idea of friendship. Unconditional friendship means accepting and supporting a person for what they are and not try to make them into what they ain't just to please you.
It wasn't him, but it was that fucking asshole I saw when I was in Florida.
Oh, yeah,
Who also
asshole.
told me that he believed in unconditional love.
No, he doesn't.
He believed in... This is not this particular... This is in Fort Lauderdale, at that church that had a 12-step group at the time.
Oh.
And he told me it's okay to be different. It's okay to be a nonconformist.
Of course.
It's okay to paint your house pink. But if you paint your house black, people are going to think you're an oddball. He said shit like that.
Well, you know what? That's a good thing, because people who are fucking judgmental and think you're an oddball, if they stay away from you, that's a good thing.
Well, another thing, when I was talking about people, this is some other asshole who I got into an argument with on YouTube about my videos, and I told him I hate judgmental people, but he told me I was being judgmental. Well, I guess I was, because I had my opinions.
Well, yeah, we're all entitled to our opinions, but, some people are just a fucking asshole about it. Especially if they're a hypocrite and they say, oh, I'm all about human rights and unconditional love and blah, 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 and then, but they only feel that way if the person is exactly like themselves. Which means that they're hypocrites and they're full of shit.
And we're at what time?
13:45.
I got 45 seconds.
No, we have a minute.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so in short, I don't know, I seem to think a lot of these so-called support groups are fucking bullshit.
Yeah, complete fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I avoid that. Yeah, they only support you if you're just like them and you fit into their limited little narrative. Yeah, and like, you ever notice these people say, oh, it's okay to be different, oh, it's cool to be a nonconformist, but if you're nonconformist and not in a way that they are, then they treat you like shit. You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're out of time.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're pretty much out of time. It's going on 14:40, well, it's 14:40, so I think I'm going to stop it now.